manually download it. So welcome to the last Datocracy call of 2025, because next month is Christmas and the December holiday season is pretty crazy. So I figure we'll take a break and restart in January. Let's see, what do we have on the calendar? It's on the, we do have a meeting scheduled for the 19th. I guess we could meet then. What do you think?
19th of January.
No, no, sorry, 19th of December is we could, in
Oh,
theory, meet because it's sort of behind after most of the Christmas events and before Christmas itself. I don't know what your
oh,
life is like then, or we could
yeah, I'm
just
fine
punt
with
and
it.
meet in January.
I'm okay
Okay, forgot
with
to send
meeting.
us. See if Tom is finding the link. You know, we often have a problem where I forget to set in the most common or recent link. Do you feel like giving a personal update? I haven't heard kind of what's happening with your life in a while, or should we rather not?
Uh, well, I was working on this stuff and monitoring other events. A lot of stuff has happened in the past days.
We had like an election in the last month.
An election, a threat of life, a life, a life threat against Congress people, an embarrassment in the courts,
Which of that is really
prosecutorial.
new as opposed to what our life has been for the
Well,
election is new. We haven't had,
mm,
hey, let's be thankful for the moment we actually had an election. We should not take these things for granted anymore.
that is true. That is true. But then, we also wanted to start wars over there in Venezuela. The DOJ is a clown show. It's, yeah,
You know, there's a
it's,
lot of weirdness, a lot of craziness.
I'm speechless.
Yeah, right. We are Tomless as well. I wonder if he didn't. If I noticed he didn't reply to the original text. I sent him an email. Maybe we should just go ahead and get starting, and we can keep it casual. If you don't have anything formal to present, you could just dive into kind of your research, and I can dive into some ideas I've been playing with, and we'll see where we end up. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. Did
that,
we actually close on the question? Do you want to meet on December 19th? Shall we keep
yes, yes,
okay.
yes.
So we will not make this the end. We'll give Tom one more chance to catch us this year. Um, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Where do you want to start?
Okay, I don't have a presentation. I have a document that I tried to push to you, but my BFS is not being cooperative today. Or yeah, I mean, I followed the steps and it was supposed to work. It's not working, and I don't have the bandwidth to troubleshoot why isn't it working. But let me share the screen. This one. And to practice this. Okay, let me find the window.
Looks like a Wikipedia page on the Fediverse.
Oh yeah. Oh, you got. Oh. So, okay.
Seeing your screen.
Yeah. Okay. So you can do requesting. Okay. Wow. Okay. So you can see the humankind R1121.
No, I only see the Fediverse Wikipedia page.
Oh, oh, okay.
Different browser, different tab.
No, the options. Is it, did it change? Now do you see with humankind release 1121? No?
Yes, I can see it now.
Oh, okay. All right. So is community discussions. Oh, you see human needs on the internet?
ActivityPub is not up to the task. Who means on the internet? Yes.
Oh, yeah. So, uh, yeah, so I
Oh,
was, hmm?
hot off the press yesterday, huh?
What? Oh, well, today I just generated
Oh, yeah.
this
Oh,
today.
yeah. Cool. And I see you got my quote in there. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, like this document is, supposed to track my thought process and all that.
Yeah.
So this is how I started with
Yeah.
your quote, right? Um, and this is Tom's reply with his, his research
Impact
as to,
estimation table. Yeah.
yeah, so screenshot of that. So started with that, and then I was thinking, well, people have needs. We have needs that we try to meet in the internet. You know,
Okay.
this is what we do these days. And I separated those needs into three: commercial
Hmm.
needs, social needs, and personal needs. The commercial mainly center mainly on financial, money, uh, things like that, um, business and all that. Social involve interacting with people, and this includes uh, influencers that they want to have lots of followers and all that, and uh, regular activity that involves social things like following people, uh, publishing content, getting notified on content that has been changed, things like that.
Right. So it
And then we
sounds
have,
like, if I'm just understanding the way you're defining it, sorry, I'll let you finish and then I can comment. I apologize. It'll
and
make it
then we have
clearer.
the, yeah, and then we have personal needs, which is connections that don't involve money or anything like that. Even they involve, just human connection, especially with family and close friends. These do not involve uh, people needing to have a bunch of followers because you know that's not personal, right? You have friends, you have family, and those are your personal connections. Your business connections is something else. So yeah, those are the three.
Okay. So,
Uh,
so if I understand correctly, the first tier is primarily about money. The second tier is primarily about information, and the third tier is primarily about connection.
yeah, meaningful connection. Yes, not
Meaningful
just
connection. Yeah.
any.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And entity, and my last paragraph says, entities driven by any of these motivations require data sharing, messaging, and value alignment, but they use those capabilities fundamentally different in different ways
Mm.
and for very different reasons.
Hmm.
So yeah, we all need, to share information and, all of that. But in the commercial realm, we need it in one way. In the personal needs, we need it in a different way. And in the social, we also need yeah, a different way. But all these things can uh combine. Like
Hmm.
an influencer is, has commercial needs and social needs, right?
Hmm.
And so when an influencer is influencing, the person is
Yeah, and let's be
exercising.
fair. They could also have personal needs where their ego gets stroked by being visible, right?
Yeah, yeah, but like at the transactions that they or the interactions would fall mostly on one or two, but rarely on all three.
Hmm.
Rarely
Interesting.
you.
That's a strong position. Let me just we'll just put a pin in that. I'll see if they let me think through that later. Keep going.
Mhm. So I focus on the personal side of things. That's where my
Hmm.
focus is, right? Other people might focus on the commercial, especially the people that that are into
The
money,
job.
job, working, yes, uh, uh, cryptocurrency, all those things.
Hmm.
Those, people get excited for, but those are in the commercial side of things.
Hmm.
But my focus mainly is in the personal, which is why I have a
Okay.
different uh,
Okay.
point. So you mentioned why has ActivityPub failed to you? And I never. I use Mastodon,
Oh,
and Mastodon is part of the is Mastodon part of the
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, Mastodon is
Mastodon
part of
is
Activity.
part of the Fediverse. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Hey,
then
Tom.
I was
Hey, just to catch up to
hey,
speed, Ernest is going through his homework and the questions we asked around, and your impact and estimation table of, what is the problem and who else has been trying to solve it, and can we figure out why it didn't work and how to do better?
Okay,
All right.
apologies for being late. Uh, okay, no need to explain it. By the way, the link I had in my calendar is different from the link we're actually using. So, but that's
Uh,
not the main problem. Was I was expecting uh, a message from you saying, "Are you on for tonight, Tom?" And I didn't get one, so I
yeah,
thought, "Oh, we're not on."
I had one yesterday, I guess, but I didn't get one today. So yeah.
All right. Okay. Sorry. Anyway, here I am.
okay.
Hi, Ernest.
So hi. So just to summarize a little bit, if you see my screen, Tom,
Yeah, I do.
I identified three areas of needs that people have when it comes to the internet. Uh, Commercial needs, social needs, and personal needs. And uh, commercial involves money, social involves mostly interactions, following people, and personal involves meaningful connection. And I was telling Ernie that I focus mostly on the personal side of things, whereas other people might focus mostly on or a lot on the financial side of things, the business side of things. My focus is mostly on the personal. So meaningful connection, free of the influence of money and things like that. So as part of the homework, right? Ernie mentioned that ActivityPub failed, and I'm not allotted to ActivityPub. I use Mastodon as part of the set of social platforms that I use. I use Blue Sky, Mastodon, Tumblr. Uh,
Yeah, and maybe it's too harsh to
yeah.
say that it failed, but it certainly doesn't seem to have solved your problem, and then that's what I was trying to understand better.
Correct. Yeah. And going into the research and I delved into I delved into DAO, right? I went to the decentralized autonomous organizations, and what is that? Could I use one of those? Well, yeah. Sure. Sorry, I didn't. What I saw about DAOs, what I learned is that I don't know, and I think we talked about this before. They are so um empty. Like a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, there were so many projects, and including projects that had humane or humanity or things like that under their names. But it was mostly about coin drops and uh what is that they do? They try to increase the value of the coin, but then the founders they exit, right, and then everybody else is left having lost money. So to me, and most of those projects are dead now, and so like maybe a DAO is not what I'm uh, uh, looking for. So I went okay, what is ActivityPub? And ActivityPub is mostly a protocol used to enable uh, people with servers or servers to communicate. So that's where, oh, I'm in Facebook and this other person is in Blue Sky, and how do we make this interact instead of they being silos? How do we make them interact? So when it comes to the Fediverse, Um, well, first of all, the Fediverse is really decentralized in that there really is no central anything. The Fediverse, if I say, "Oh, I'm part of the Fediverse," it means that I have a server that I can connect, communicate with other servers, and we might have, you know, similar values or whatever, but not nobody's checking that. There's no uh, there's a whole bunch of documents that talk about the Fediverse, but it's mostly people or entities saying, "I, we are part of this Fediverse thing." It's mostly a mental entity, right? There's no
So wait,
building,
wait, wait,
there's
wait,
no.
okay, right. Sorry, are you seeing that as a good or bad thing that there's no there
No,
there?
I'm saying that's a good thing. Like nobody can
Hmm.
say, "Oh, I'm gonna sue the Fediverse." No, 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 you can't. There's nobody. It's like saying I'm gonna sue humanity. There's not. It's like there's no center. So
Can you
that's
scroll up so
good
we can
in
see the
that.
rest of your page on what is the Fediverse?
Oh yeah. Uh, my definition. Okay, so let me highlight the definition that I kind of coined. The Fediverse is a
Hmm.
decentralized group of entities with the goal of providing social networking services that interact and cooperate with each other to provide individuals choices for fulfilling their commercial, social, and personal needs on the internet. So that's my, you know, sort of definition after reading, Wikipedia articles and
Yeah.
things. So this is essentially the Wikipedia. The rest is the Wikipedia article
Hmm.
about the Fediverse. And I'm also
Hmm.
getting big on this life code thing. So I'm thinking,
Yeah.
okay, so what would be the Fediverse's life code? From all the information that I've read, I'm trying to call okay, from all the statements that people make, I try to bubble up a life code. So this is the what I figured that the life code of the Fediverse is. And one of the things that the things that I want to focus on, or one of the aspects that I want to focus on is our traits. So a trait is not something that you say you are. A trait is something that you actually are. You can't you don't
You can
say,
actually
oh,
observe. I can look at you and see it even if you don't say a word.
correct. So what I can say about the Fediverse is that it is decentralized. There's no doubt about it. Nobody can say, oh, it is decentralized because there's no one brain. There's a whole bunch of brains, and there's no one person or entity saying, oh, this is what the Fediverse is going to do. No, it's a bunch of people having discussions, and so it is decentralized. Then when it comes to purpose, and this is where you like, oh yeah, this is so people share the purpose of providing social networking services. And what does the Fediverse provide? It provides communication services through a common protocol, which happens to be the ActivityPub. And it promotes independence and sovereignty. It facilitates collaboration and communication and interaction. And uh, people or the members or participants, they take responsibility for content policies and content moderation. That's what I see about the people that say they are a part of the Fediverse.
Or
It's
inversely, the Fediverse as a whole does not take responsibility for it.
correct. So
Yeah,
yeah,
if you're talking
it's
about
kind
the
of
Fediverse, it's
difficult.
really is it decentralizes responsibility for? Might be a more precise way of saying
Yes,
it. And yeah,
yeah. And so when it comes to phrasing it as a life code thing, I can I say these are supposed to be verbs, like provide is a verb.
but the
Yes.
subject of that verb is the Fediverse.
Uh, well, the individual, the members. So if you say this is my life code when it comes to the Fediverse. So this my purpose is to provide social networking services.
I see.
Uh, so yeah, and then uh, I must take responsibility for these things. It's kind of,
So these are the
I
values you're buying into when you join the Fediverse or when you participate in the Fediverse.
correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I got the context clarified now. Anyway,
Now,
uh, cool. So what? So how does this? Sorry, I don't know where you're going next, but I'm very curious. Whenever you get to it, how this matches or has friction with your personal life code in
oh,
this space.
I haven't seen friction. Actually, I saw. Oh, this is. I I agree with this.
Mm.
Right. So as part of my keep more research, I didn't just stick in Forgeo for no reason, because there was I was reaching ActivityPub. A part of the research, I found that the people in Forgeo, they have um a feature that is like federated followers or something, that they also had it on GitLab, but the GitLab people were not kind of hot on it or something. I don't know. So Portico, which is similar to GitLab, they
Mm.
are working on this feature of federated follows. I guess it's like if you will follow a project, uh, you should be able to follow, even if you're in GitLab or GitHub or whatever. They want to, just like social media, you can follow a person in threads from Mastodon. They want to be able to, for you to, if you're in GitHub, to be able to follow somebody on GitLab or whatever. The same kind of like interaction. So they're implementing this feature they were doing it in GitLab, but I don't know, somebody left and they were too busy and the GitLab people were not too hard on it. I don't know. But then the Git the Fortigo people were more warm to the idea. I haven't I don't know if they're really finishing the feature or still working on it, but I guess it got more traction. But anyway, that's why Portugal is here. I also got, uh, as part of that, I ran into the um, chaotic organization. Um, there's, and I got to that through a social code. I will share the URL later. I don't have it on top of my head right now, but it's something called social coding or social whatever, something like that. It's not it's like coders that have some sort of social contract, whatever. And through that, I got into this chaotic organization, which the guy who founded Visa, the credit card system,
Hmm.
came up with this. Like, really? So when I think Visa, I was like, that's like the most commercial and money focused thing that you can imagine. But yeah, he came up with this, which it is surprisingly, at least at the beginning, it doesn't seem like you would be supporting something that is so commercialized, but it does.
Wow.
But yeah, and he has a whole bunch of he has
You scroll up a bit more so you can see the rest of the.
um uh y- yeah, and this is also after my reading about the chaotic organization. I came up with or also compiled what it would be its life goals.
Wow. So they literally use the term North Star and tenets, or is that your translation?
No, no, that's my turn. Because okay, and I write that through uh, through this document. So the nature and creation of chaotic organization. So this is a document. So yeah, Dee Hock is the Visa founder. And in this document, he talks about a process that is very similar to what we have been doing. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, so what is okay? First, what is a chaotic organization? So chaotic is combination of chaos and order. So he's saying that in the modern world, the traditional structures they don't work. He says there's too much diversity. There's how you know uh, digital uh, capabilities and all that stuff. So he says we have to come up with something different. So he did this in years ago, and that's how
Hmm.
he came up with Visa, right? Because he wanted all these banks, right? They were competing when it came to credit cards and things. So he says, well, we have to compete, but we also have to cooperate. So he
Hmm.
says we need to come up with something that can, like,
It
do
serves
both.
serves human beings, right? Not and not just fight amongst ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. So he talks about well,
So
for
does he consider Visa a chaotic organization? Do you know?
I
Part of the way.
yeah, I don't
Okay.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you said there is that Visa was a prototype of what a chaotic organization could be, even if it didn't fully live out these values.
Yeah, yeah. So it says forming a chaotic organization begins with an intensive search for purpose and then proceeds to principles, and then determining what people you would need to be part of it, and then
Mm,
what new concepts you have to for,
mm.
because the old concepts, that he says that they're old. So you have to come up
Yeah,
with
legacy, we
new,
call them. Yeah.
yeah, and then structure, and then practice. So he
Mm.
has several
That's a
steps
good
here.
list. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, we have done that, especially when it comes to, like, we talk about principles, right? So we've done that. We haven't done the people thing. But in the same way that he determines, you have to come up with principles, uh, he says that principles are not, uh, they don't tell you how to do, they don't tell you what to do. They tell you things like, well, his example is honor your father and mother, right? So that's a principle. And how you do that is, depends. You might have to fight, defend your mother. You might have to uh, um, you know, do follow your father's footsteps. It depends on the circumstance, what you actually do to fulfill that principle. So he says after you have a purpose, or form your principles, um, which is foundational to whatever it is that you're trying to do. Then you say, okay, what people do we need to uh, get this thing done? So, you know, it has to be special people, or people who understand that change is needed, and you know, when people set aside all considerations of existing conditions, free themselves to think in accordance with their deepest beliefs, and do not bind their thinking with structure and practices before considering meaning and values, they usually discover that the number and variety of people and entities to participate in governance, ownership, rewards, and obligations is much greater than this. So, uh, essentially, it's a whole lot of uh, thinking and philosophizing and uh, really try to come up with new ways of looking at things. And that's where the concept is. So he said, after you have your purpose and your principles and your people, you uh, imagine how those things can be connected in ways that will fulfill um, all of them. And, will honor the principles and will use the people appropriately. Uh, And after you have those concepts, then you have the structure. And the structure is where in his description, that's where you talk about uh, incorporating, registering a corporation or whatever it is, like, and legalizing it, making it real. So this is still, and this is where it gets into the uh, commercial and not much monetary thing, because in the end he says, you don't worry. In the end, he says that if you do this appropriately, then uh, somebody says he has posted a lot of questions, and one of them is, "What about profit?" Well, from my experience, profit becomes a barking dog begging to be let in. So he's saying, if you follow this, then profits will just come on. I don't know about that, because then, we will have a whole
Oh,
bunch of successful
well,
companies.
I read that as, uh, like a dog waiting to be let in. It will annoy you until you pay attention to it and distract you from the thing you were trying to do. But
Um, yeah. Yeah, that's
It's certainly true. Like I do believe if you solve a real human problem in a way that's easy for people to adopt, you shouldn't lack for resources.
yeah. So as I was doing all this research, I'm thinking, well, yeah, this is very helpful, especially the part about purpose and like I'm remember I was last month I was trying to figure out how do we just tell people how to create a life code. What us
Mm.
three were doing, getting our values together and all that. I think we started. I don't think we defined a purpose. I think when us three we are a unit, right? A group. So what is our? I haven't thought about what our purpose is. I don't know if we have thought about that. Uh, so I don't know if we started. I don't know that I don't know that we have a purpose. We just meet, you know,
Well,
once a month,
I
and
think
we
we have
talk.
purposes is that
Yeah,
overlap,
yes, we have
right? I
purpose, and
mean, there's sort of Datocracy on the tin, which is like this idea of moving from the current late stage democracy that is starting to fail around us to something that's easier to measure and manage equitably. And we have a handful of principles that we've kicked around. Um, and I mean, this is why we are more of an association than an organization,
Mhm. Yes.
right? And he's very much talking about like, and it is true. If you want to change the world, you need some kind of organization where you're actually thinking through and saying like, yes, we all sign up for these things. We're going to work on them together, as opposed to, well, we'll let you do this thing for a while, and then we'll stop and hear about 10 of Tom's books, and then see where there's some overlap.
Yeah, yeah, and uh, Tom is over there in Norway, talking with his people and helping with uh, the Ukrainians and their fight for freedom.
Okay.
Ernie,
Ah,
Ernie,
nice.
Ernie's doing. Uh, I'm not. I know you have you have a bunch of things. You're
Yeah.
good when it comes to organizing things and summarizing things, and you work in. I think you work in AI, but I'm like I don't want to get too much
I
into
work
it
in
because
I work in data management is probably a better
data
space, which
management.
has a lot of overlap with AI. But
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
I
Actually,
try
this is
not
a
to
good
think.
segue. If this is a good inflection point, because I'm actually really curious whether Tom has heard of Chaordic and whether you know D Hicks. No, no to both, huh? Um,
Mm,
but that's an interesting. Um, the There's certainly a lot of resonance with what in Planguage in terms of working. I mean, it's not the same thing, but it certainly rhymes. Working from a top level statement and making it more and more concrete and precise. Although I think he thinks more in terms of uh, relational structures than measurable metrics.
hmm
But I
Well,
would be interested in seeing a chaotic book from you, Tom.
well.
By that, I'm not sure
Is
if I
it,
mean.
if I knew what it was, I'd do it for you overnight.
Yeah, I think the interesting question is not so much whether it's a book about chaotic, although that would be interesting too, but a book that was itself chaotic. That because I feel like your books and your thinking is very ordered. And so it would be very interesting to think about. Maybe I'll ask ChatGPT if Tom Gill was to write a book about chaotic. ChatGPT must know who you are, right? Have you asked?
Yeah. Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
And I'm a national hero at Grok these days too. And if you
Not
think I'm
necessarily.
joking, I'll send
But
you
no,
the
I
details
can a national hero in Grok, I would believe. At
in
Grok
Grok.
might be a little
Yeah,
more challenging.
yeah.
Yeah,
In Grok.
yes,
No, it's
Grok loves you even if X hates you. But
No,
But
Or even if
I
Elon, yeah,
was messing with the new 4.1 yesterday,
Grok,
and it
yeah.
on Grok, yeah, and it knows all about my methods. You know, it claims to have studied a dog-eared copy of my competitive engineering on a daily basis. Grok does. And I gave it the slightest stupid hint yesterday. I just said, do some alumni association planning in Planguage, and it comes out with all the stakeholders and the values, and in Planguage with scale and goal and meter and everything, and the whole thing. It knows my shit, and it knows my shit. And the other ones claim to have some knowledge of me. Yeah. I even offered Grok today a slight updated copy of my new book, Priority Engineering. And it told me in detail the differences in the copy I gave it from the one I had up on ResearchGate. That's how deep it goes. It is sucking to it detailed knowledge. Even on, and it encouraged me so that every new version you publish, just feed it to me. I can take it. Okay. Which is quite different from the early days of AI, where we can't take big books or we can't take your books at all.
that's interesting.
I sent you a few things today. Oh, another friend of mine just popped up and made basically a Tom Gill avatar in ChatGPT.
You
That's the
mentioned that,
first
yeah.
email I sent. The first email I sent you today. And then the next is I took my entire book, Priority Engineering, 322 pages, and I got it to write two articles, one for C-level executives, the other for my wife on the book. And it does a damn good job. I mean, better than I could do. And I sent you those.
Oh, here we go. Here's the, can I share?
Share away.
Okay. I asked, explain Chaordic to Tom.
Oh, good.
And here it is that it's not
Thank you.
poetry, it is measurable.
Yeah.
Purpose is the top level stakeholder value.
Mhm.
Chaotic is about structured hypothesis generation.
Yeah.
Order is about
This is
constraints.
this is very tailored to me, isn't it?
Yeah, I literally
I
said,
mean, it
explain,
it knows. Yeah.
assume the real Tom knows nothing about chaotic. What are the most relevant,
Yeah.
non-obvious insights he would appreciate?
Wow.
And
Please send it to me.
yeah,
And then the next thing is, would anybody care if I wrote anything about it or contributed to it, whatever that means? And I don't know, but it sounds like there's a relationship there somewhere. It makes you believe it.
let's just ask.
Are you asking ChatGPT right now?
Yeah, I'm asking him right now. Would his audience appreciate him? Um, it aligns with their interest. It's novel. That's an interesting point. But three, these people struggle with scaling autonomy. Well, I've been hitting that one. Keeping alignment without bureaucracy and defining value beyond features. That's a great line. Um, you can make it quantified, metrics, Evo. Ooh, there's rising interest in post-agile organizational models that blend
Oh
autonomy with
yeah,
coherence,
you bet.
not as a metaphor, but as a practical measurable architecture. I'll put this in an email. All right, so that would be
By the
a,
way,
yeah.
I just
Good
put
find,
this.
by the way, Ernest. Like I've heard of Dee Hicks, but I don't think if I've heard about it. I had not. It just bounced off of me, and this is actually quite interesting.
What I
Uh,
Tom, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just asked Grok whether I should write it and how should it look. I will send you both a copy of it in a moment when it's finished.
Yeah.
It's still working out, but the answer was like a resounding yes. That's funny. Um,
It said
so
resounding yes.
a resounding
Sh-
yes.
Should you write a book? Yeah.
Oh yeah, with my relating my stuff to Chaordic. Yeah. So
Okay.
so hmm,
The
at
next question is, will
the
Well,
you actually
moment.
write the book, or will you just have Groff write the book for you and call it done?
Well, we'll see. But
And maybe we
I
won't
had
even, and maybe we'll never know for sure.
yeah
I will know. Will know. I've read enough
yeah,
of
I was
Tom to know when an AI is trying to
uh yeah,
write it for me.
I do mix the books these days. Whatever works.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
pragmatic.
yeah.
Uh
It's funny.
share. Okay.
It just occurred to me that the way my life is going is that the um, you know ChatGPT knows and remembers certain things about me and can fake me to a certain extent, but not terribly well. But ChatGPT is getting smarter and smarter, and I'm getting older and older. And at some point, the lines will converge where you'll get a more faithful version of Ernie from the AI than you get from the currently living Ernie.
Yes.
I don't think
Something
so.
like that.
No.
At
So
least in terms of, which is an interesting point, is that in terms of useful intellectual insight, that will probably become true. Hopefully, which is interesting, as I get the implication is that as I get older, um, empathy and emotional presence and caring, you know, are actually become more important than mere cleverness.
Mhm.
And so maybe that's something to look forward to.
Yeah. Uh, well,
Anyway,
my
the real question I had, Ernest, at the beginning of this was, does it make sense for you to be building your reliable distributed communication system on top of IPFS, or could you do it on top of ActivityPub?
I well, but I thought about that, but ActivityPub and even the Fediverse is too small. They just focus on the social. And it said they said it.
Right.
Link.
So let me see if I can translate what I think you mean by that. There's two things that you want to do that ActivityPub does not even try to address. One is persistent document storage,
Mhm.
right? Now you can imagine that IPFS becomes the way you store documents, and ActivityPub could be the way that you communicate versions and links and whatever, but that's a separate thing. And the second thing that it doesn't do is the thing that Chaotic does, which is the life code. It
Yeah,
doesn't formalize semantics around there. Um, so
correct.
it
That
does solve the problem of putting stuff out in the world that a single corporation doesn't control.
Well, not really. It goes like we're on a spectrum. So the commercial, the Web3 world is, we have silos of big corporations, and there's Meta and Google, and they just
Those are technically Web
gather.
2, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Facebook is
Yeah,
supposed
Web
to
two.
tell the Web 2. Yeah, Web 3 is more crypto.
Okay. So we have all these big corporations, right?
Mhm.
Uh, Fediverse tries to, like, okay, no, let's have people. Let's move
Let's have a lot of
towards
small
in
corporations.
individual. Yes, exactly. Yeah, small individuals that control servers. So it's kind of like, in the middle. I want to go all the way to the individual. I want to say, make the individual
So
the
you don't,
center.
right, is you just have a node, you don't really have a server.
Exactly.
Right, but
So
here's a question. Why do you want to do that? What is your,
because
let me go chaotic. What is your purpose?
well, when it comes it chaotic, it Okay, well, that's not just chaotic, but my purpose is freedom, uh, liberty, and let's say human rights.
Sure, but let's back
Like,
up specifically this thing about the reason you want human information to be nodes controlled by individuals rather than servers controlled by corporations.
well, because every time somebody gets a little bit of control, they want more control, and
Okay,
they
right,
want
but
to dictate.
right, right. So freedom from control, I get, and I think that's
Mhm.
useful. Let me see if I can refine the question to clarify the thing I'm curious about, which is it's the freedom. It's also it's like you can have a lot of freedom from control by just writing on stone tablets that you store in your
Mhm.
basement. No one can take those away from you. But there is
Mhm.
something that you want there's something positive you want to be able to do
Uh,
that today you can
yeah,
only do
this
it by
this
using these corporate things. So what is the thing you want to do? Like you,
democratized knowledge,
but would you say democratize?
democratized
But what do you mean by you mean do you want to democratize global knowledge sharing?
any
Because you can
knowledge,
all,
but
but
any
is it
knowledge.
well, the question is that well, would you say democratize knowledge? You mean for all of humanity?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's
So
not a that's a that's actually not uh, immediately obvious, and it's good to have it stated explicitly. Is
mhm.
that you want so your purpose is to democratize knowledge for all of humanity? Okay, let me pause on that for a moment. Why?
When I uh, go through history, I find I guess I could use a modern word. It triggers me when I learn about the Library of Alexandria.
Mm,
All that knowledge, all those, uh, all that knowledge, right? It was in the library, and some
mhm,
morons, some ignorant people, hateful people, they just destroyed it because
mm,
whatever reason, because they
yeah,
didn't like what I. To me, that's preposterous. That's like, how can you do that? And like,
yeah,
how much, how much ahead would we be with if we had maintained that knowledge? So to me, the destruction of knowledge is like the most terrible sin that a human can do, and we do it all the time. The Nazis
yeah,
did it. All with all these wars. That's what they do. Like, oh yeah, let's burn the books, and like I want the destruction of knowledge to be impossible. That's why
right, right.
IPFS
Okay,
looks so attractive to me.
right. So let me refine that. So I have because originally I was thinking about democratizing access to knowledge, which is the thing that people like Google worry about. But I think
Mm,
what you care about is democratizing the propagation and protection of knowledge. You want to make it easy to
correct.
share information and have it not be lost.
Yes, yes. Like I don't want anyone to erase history, to change history. I want that to be impossible. Like, you can't do. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
want some dude to just think, oh yeah, let me just destroy this library. Like, no, doesn't matter
yeah,
because there
or more like you don't
somebody.
want some corporation to destroy your post
Yeah, like
or anyone else's, right? Is that
or
the idea
anyone
is that
else's.
people are sharing information in a way that they could do that. Yeah, I think that's this is helpful, at least for me, getting that purpose statement nailed down. It may not be useful for Tom yet. It's not yet quantifiable necessarily the metrics, but um, that feels like if we fed in, um, this purpose and this transcript and maybe several transcripts, we could get so does the one thing I loved about your work is this idea of a life code,
Hmm.
right? As this structure thing. Does Chaordic have a name for the artifact that they produce?
No, it just says chaotic organization. That's the
Yeah.
name.
So maybe
Chaotic organization.
and maybe any one of us could take this on. I guess probably Tom or I, because Ernest. I mean, actually, maybe this would be a good exercise. Um, is homework for the end. Is like maybe taking one. See if you can go one step further, Ernest, and write down like if that's your purpose, you can tweak it a bit. Then what are the principles underlying it in the chaotic sense? Would that be interesting for you to spend more time on, or
Yeah, yeah,
okay? And then Tom,
yeah.
what I was thinking might be fun, and you and I could either do this. Maybe you do the. Is that you could do the Planguage version? Given that purpose, how would you encode that in Planguage? And I can do the. How do I come up with a chaotic document, and that'll give us something to share next time. And I'll send the current framing of this as an email to you with the homework. Are you, well, just, I know I was talking with Ernest before you got on, December 19th, would that work for you?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
nothing
cool.
special.
We'll have our holiday special
Yeah,
solstice.
and I don't mind getting an early message saying, "Are you on for tonight?" Because
Yes, I will
I've
try
almost
and,
Oh,
yeah, normally I
grown
do
to
a little,
rely on them.
yes, I had a busy morning and lost track. So appreciate you jumping in. Thanks for your patience. Looking forward to our year-end special. This could be cool if we actually get a family of documents to compare different
If
models of
I
thinking.
if I don't get drowned by something else, I'm like, it would be really fun to write that chaotic book.
mm.
Yeah.
Uh,
Or-
working title is Precise Heresies. Read what I sent you.
Ooh.
Precise heresies.
Well, I did. I sent you the detail of what Grok suggested, and it suggested 7 titles, and that was one of them.
Oh, okay.
And I liked it. Precise
Yeah.
Heresies. So, but read what Grok sent. I mean, it's quite an imaginative little guy. Oh, it even suggested it would buy the first 10 copies from me, whatever that
Grok
means.
said
Do
that?
it. Yeah.
Grok
So
said
Grok
that?
Grok
let me
said
let,
it's
let,
in
let
the.
me share this.
I
You
This is
know,
I sent it
hilarious.
to you
they program those things to
on the
to
bottom.
do that,
Platter. Yeah.
to
But
to
yeah, but
bother
it's still
you.
it's a do it. The niche is the ditch is tiny but rabid, and the crossover potential is enormous. I will buy 10 copies on release day and hand them out like contraband.
Oh man.
I like Grok. I like Grok.
I do
This is
not.
I mean, it's got my table of contents already there. All I have to do is write the stuff or ask it to write or something.
this is my favorite line. The rationalist slash EA sphere is quietly imploding because it can't admit chaos exists.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, well spotted. I haven't
That's,
I
that's a
haven't studied everything. Yeah. So,
Tom Glib fans
ugh.
who want to radicalize their coworkers.
By the way, another thing I sent you guys, a friend of mine uh, created on ChatGPT the Guild bot, and the link to it, so you can play with it yourself, is there. It's a bot that is gives all my advice on language and has about 20 of my books as its training.
Mm-mm.
So there right now.
All right. All right, send me the link. If you don't make it in time for the 19th, we'll just throw the chat, bring your avatar into the Zoom link and have it.
Exactly. Well done. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, this has been a blast. Thank you for doing your homework, Ernest. And I'm excited to see what we come up with next.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
thank you
same here.
for the stimulus of crazy ideas. That's what I live for.
Yeah,
Uh,
you really outdid yourself this time, Ernest. Thank you. That was a great find.
uh,
Take care.
you
All
too,
Take
right.
guys.
care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.